I think this is gonna be the first of a long series. I'm not really sure what's gonna happen with that. My idea is mostly to put online, probably both in French and in English, because I do speak both language on a regular basis. So my thoughts are kind of, all over the place sometimes. That's for sure. Sometimes I just want to express myself. And I realized that instead of talking to myself, I could literally just talk to myself, but record it and share it. And it wouldn't be just talking to myself, but it would be just putting it out there in another way. Because if you don't know it exists, then you can't look for it. So I figured it's not that I have extraordinary things to say, but yeah, sometimes I'm just, I wonder if I'm the only one having those thoughts. I guess that's the best way you can put it. That would be the reason why I guess I'm starting all of that. Even though I'm not really, I don't plan on investing time in monetizing anything, or, I'm going to say things as I think them. If it brings me money, cool. If it doesn't, it's fine. I don't want to try to watch my language for that. I may reevaluate that position later on. But for now, no, I'm fine. I'm good with that. So, not really sure where to start now. I knew I wanted to express some things earlier. I was very into it, and now that I'm in front of the microphone, I'm just like, oh, what should I be saying? We're trying to move at the moment. I live with two people. We are three as grown up as we can, adults. All living our earning our lives. We're not a trouble, like you would say it, I guess. It's not, it kind of is, I guess. My spouse came here with his best friend at first, and I met him, and they were living together, and they're still living together. Now I'm living with them. And we kind of built a little clan, like let's try to make our life happen, and by reducing the cost of rental and electricity bill and all, divided it by 3 instead of 2, it's much more convenient. But we've been living here in Cambodia for 4 years now, and to be honest, it's starting to be no, it has started for a while. It's been like that for a while. We just can't anymore. That's we as individuals, we are trying to build ourselves up. We are trying to invest in our skills. We're trying to grow as human beings. We're trying to heal some like personal trauma. We're saving money and cutting on costs so that we can invest in something else afterwards. We are not just spending that on beers every Saturday and cigarettes to go along with it, and all the nice dinners. Oh, $5 per here. Oh, today it's only $10 the meal. Oh, that's nice. It's cheap. Yeah, but that adds up pretty quick. When you see that a foreigner here spends about $300 in tuk-tuks per month, it's a lot. That's more than the average salary here. So you're like, are you really trying your best? Like, I must be spending on average with the repairs and shit like that about $50 a month on my transportation. Not more than that. That's the cost of petrol, I would say, plus all the divided cost of repair we had to do. We're not going out anymore. Whenever we do, we try to spend as little as possible, because we know that's not what we're here for. We're here for being around people that we appreciate. or discover something new. That would be the two main reasons why we would go out, or fetch some resources, or sell something, or whatever. Work, it's either we go and spend money, or we go and bring money, but we try to make it as we bring money as much as possible. And we've tried to have this growth mindset for a while, because I live my boyfriend. I don't like to say boyfriend because it just feels like, oh, my boyfriend, my girlfriend. It's kind of high school thing, but we're not married, so it's not my husband, but it's kind of like, we've been together for 4 years now. It's just not advantageous for us to get married paper-wise, yeah, in terms of paperwork and shit and benefits that it would give us. So you just don't. we don't need a piece of paper to know that we belong together for now. Like I say for now because we never know what can happen. But I'm not saying that I have deadline for that relationship. God no, oh my God, I love this guy so much. Is my man is very atypical. He has a high functioning level of autism and savantism. His IQ has been tested to be 196. He comes from the States, Black American, and I'm French, if you didn't notice by my accent already, because it's just pretty noticeable. I'm trying to smoothen it out, but up, out, down, neutral. But yeah, it's not always easy. Anyway, we're trying to move. We're trying to go. We're trying to move forward in our lives. We're trying to heal. We're trying to transform our weaknesses into strengths. And we have a lot of things that we want to do. But unfortunately, this place has been pretty crazy and taught us a lot of lessons, though, very valuable lessons that I will get back to it, I guess, one day, but just, I don't know, think about it right now. But it's like whenever we try, like we try to have our aircon fixed and they just can't replace the fucking pipe. They don't want to. They say, no, you either buy the whole unit or we don't do it. But fuck you. And whenever we bring a guy for repairing, then 2 hours later or 3 days later or 2 weeks later, the problem comes back, or it's a new one coming back, or adding up to the previous one. Happens a lot. And you can't really rely. People are not trying to be professional, actually. They're not trying to build ethics. They're not trying to have a growth mindset. They're not trying to evolve themselves through the work that they're in, because they might not have the chance to choose the work that they want to, actually. But sometimes you have to try to force yourself to see the positive in whatever situation you're in. Otherwise, you're just miserable all the time. And that's how I used to be, that's for sure. Because that's kind of how I grew up, unfortunately. It was easier to point out the negative than the positive. And it's always been like that. And it's sad. It's pretty sad. I feel trapped here. I mean, right now I literally feel trapped because I'm in a sound booth. But it's like every time we try to say, okay, I'm going to do things this way because this happened and so I want to try that. And instead of saying, okay, I might just try it out. Whatever you need, I'll try to help out. No, it's, oh no, I'll show you my way. But if you don't do my way, then I'm no way I'm going to help you with your way. There's no concept of camaraderie. Like, the only camaraderie and friendship that you see are in bars. That's not true. There are communities that are growing outside of that, like artistic communities, I know. But the daily life I'm talking about. And it's, man, really? You think that spending $15 in alcohol every night or every weekend is worth it that much to be around the same people? Drinking the same fucking $2 beer, $1.50. Listening to the same kind of music and shitty music with that. No, not shitty. There are exceptions, but overall, I'm not gonna lie, there's no exceptional thing happening. It's always kind of the same faces, the same rhythms, the same melodies, and after a while, it just gets boring because whenever you try to do something new, you kind of automatically reject it because You're just not doing what they're already doing. But that's the way we've always done. Of course. So that's the way we should be keeping on doing, right? Because everybody knows that we don't need to evolve. We don't need to move forward. We're already perfect, right? Once you get out of college, you're perfect. You know everything about life, right? But shit, no, you don't know shit about life. That's what I'm telling you. And I realized that I've spent most of my 20s just wasting my time. Really wasting it. And I'm going to turn 30 this year in a couple of months. Shit, already a couple of months. Wow, I didn't even realize that. And most of my friends, they have kids, they have a house, they've invested their money and they're settled down. They have their comfortable safety net. And it's totally fine. It's totally cool. But I wonder when they take time and when do they plan to do the things that will make them grow as individuals, not as a couple. That's also important and as a family as well. But individually, you can't bring growth to a group if you yourself are not a positive thing for yourself. And that's what I've had to discover at some point. I thought I was helping people. I was working in NGOs, doing some humanitarian work and working my ass off to help my ex-boyfriend and everything financially. But in the end, I was not happy inside because I hadn't healed some trauma, and I'm still not fully recovered from some of them. And I was not having any plan for myself. I didn't know what kind of human being I wanted to be. And I was just unaware of so much. And I'm just starting. I feel like I'm just starting to open my eyes on what's possible to do. It took me days and weeks of listenings of a lot of different kinds of podcasts and readings and buying some online audiobook and listening to this psychotherapist and this MMA fighter and this artist, this musician, this and in the end, and I fucking thank you so many people that I will have to list at some point. But starting by Joe Rogan is the kind of incubator for that. Is the one who introduced me to Jordan Peterson, to Rhonda Patrick, to what's his name? Sean Baker, I believe so. The guy who lives on the meat-only diet. And so many other people that have influenced my life just by sharing their experience. And it's all about that. Share your experience. Don't try to say, oh, it's either that or that. No, there are nuances for a lot of things. Well, I'm not saying that water is wet, for example. Sure. But water can be ice and can be burning somehow as well. There are sometimes each situation requires a different approach. You can't have a template for everything. And I feel like this is what society's become. We've become kind of a society of templates. Hey, let me be a lawyer. I'm going to do this, and that. Oh, let me be a butcher. I'm going to do this and that. But the template of métro, boulot, dodo, like we say in French, it's subway, work, and go back home and you sleep. And that's how life goes for a lot of us, unfortunately. And I feel that's so fucking sad. Because there's so much more to it. Once you tap into your own potential, once you give yourself the permission and the means as well, because you can't do that by yourself. It's much, much harder. You have to build a support system with people you trust. And that builds over time. That builds over time, obviously. And we make mistakes. We're all human, emotional beings in the end. So it's... so many things I want to keep talking about. It's like people are not. They're afraid. We're afraid. Okay, there's this book, The War of Art. It's not the art of war. That's another great book, but it's for another topic. The War of Arts. Of art or arts? I don't remember. Stephen... Oh, I can't remember his name. I can't remember the other's name right now. but very good work about resistance and how we ourselves stop ourselves from succeeding at anything or at a lot of things. We have those internal resistance. Like I'm thinking about resistance band right now, like something that really pulls you toward it and you don't want to go and trying to escape it, but you're not trying that hard anyway. You're not, otherwise you'd be out one way or another. And I'm not saying there are circumstances that are very, very hard to escape, but we all know that motherfucker that managed to make it. What was his process? What did he do? We live in an era where everything is searchable through a tap of finger, a little thumb motion, and you know whatever you want to know, almost, right? And that makes people think that they know everything about everything. But the thing is, you gotta dig in. You gotta dig deep sometimes. It's not the first 10 pages that count sometimes. It's the 500th one with that guy who said that thing about this thing, you know? And that will resonate in you, and that will make sense, and that will give you the information you were looking for, because maybe that was a very, 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 very specific question that you had in mind, and that no one had really bothered to answer it before. Because, whoa, that's obvious. You know, everybody knows that. I hate that. Everybody knows that. When you start living abroad, you really realize how that is not true. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that you're supposed to show up on time when you have a first professional appointment. Well, but not local people here. You know, there are so many things. Like you can't rely on the everybody knows and the postcard announcement that tells you, yeah, that's the way to success. No, the way to success is not the exact same one for everyone. There can't be a template that shows you what's the right way to do. And we are just imprisoned in the system that we grew up in. I grew up in the West, I'm French. And the system is not that bad. Well, I'm not going to complain too much, but we have strong economic ties with America now. And we adopt a lot of what American people do. And when you see how they treat their citizens, it's fucking awful. Like, it's a fucking theater play. It's just enormous. It's blatant. It's just in front of our eyes, and nobody's saying anything. Nobody's saying anything. They're like, oh yeah, Joe Biden's been elected. Oh, that's great. A new change. Dude, how is that a change? It is the same system. The system is the problem. It's not the people inside the system. I mean, there are problems, well, but it's bigger than them. We need something that really just change. And because I know that I can't change anything at that level, I'm trying to change myself. That's the only thing I can control. Thank you, Jordan Peterson. 12 rules for life. It's not that complicated. It just requires honesty. And look at yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, okay, am I doing the best that I can for myself right now? Am I being the best I can be? Am I just wasting my time? Is it really worth to go to that party? Or should I just run my scales because I do want to become a pianist one day? Run your scales before you go to play with your friends, kid. That's exactly what life is, but continuously. And we think that once we grow up, once we reach 18 years old, nobody has the right to tell us what to do, and that we know everything about everything. At least the things that we know, we think we master them. And it's terrible. It's terrible. There's almost no self-consciousness sometimes. It's like, I am already good where I'm at. I don't need to really evolve. I'm just going to dig deep in my work because I know that my work is where I can progress. But what about your family life? What about your okay, we do what we call the 3 endeavors. One spiritual, one physical, and one mental / intellectual. For me, the physical endeavor is fixing my body, because I know I have postural imbalances that I grew up with. I have recurring pains that prevent me from doing a lot of things that I want to do. And so I'm trying to explore that and build my body up to a point where, yeah, I might become Mrs. Muscle at some point. And guess what? I don't really care as long as I feel good inside. I don't really care how I look as long as my body is functioning to the maximum of its abilities. or as much as I can push it to work. And I feel that's sad that a lot of people are just happy with the way they are, and everybody is the same, and everybody is gonna die the same way. We're all gonna get cancer. We're gonna or die on the road, or heart attack, or getting crippled after 60 years old because you didn't take care of your body before, you didn't take care of your diet before, you ate junk food all your life, and you let your kid get fatter than you when they're kids, and you're like, well, how do you expect not to really live in idiocracy? The fucking movie, yes, I am referring to that movie because that's the way we're headed. And that's fucking scary. That's fucking scary. That's kind of why I didn't make kids. Because I'm like, I can't barely take care of myself fully. Like, I have no idea what's inside me, really. So there's the physical endeavor. For me, it's building my body up and then learning martial arts, because I do really want to know how to fight. I think that we live in a place that might just collapse at some point. The model that we live in, it's not gonna last forever. And there might be a day where someone is gonna try to rob me from my apple because they have nothing to eat for a week, and I might have to defend that apple with the cost of my life, or his life, or her life. So that's for the physical aspect. There's this intellectual aspect. For that, part of that is my business that I'm trying to grow as an entrepreneur. And the other one is to learn how to program, because programming really teaches how to structure things out. You can't leave something outside. You have to be really thorough. And so that's a goal for me. I take the time whenever I can to try to learn HTML and CSS for now. But that's going to be on the long term. Really on the long term. Then, the spiritual one. That goes mostly through arts. Expressing your emotions. Find a way to express your emotions, to heal your trauma, and to try to be content with who you are. On a spiritual level, like, you're making the right decisions for yourself, for others. You're not unnecessarily hurting people or stealing from someone or destroying something that doesn't need to be destroyed. And you're aligned with your line. Yeah, you have an alignment. Sorry, still French. You have an alignment. You're aligned. Okay, what you say, what you do, and what you think are aligned. That's when you know that you really have a spiritual balance. When you don't contradict yourself, when you don't lie to yourself and to others. And a lot of us do. Loads of us do. One way or another. And we have to be honest, that's the thing. Nobody's perfect. Nobody ever will. But what makes the ride fun, and by the ride I'm talking about life in general, is trying to enjoy it as much as I can. For me anyway, that's what it is. I don't want on my deathbed to tell me, shit, I regret I didn't do that. I should have pursued music because I feel I still have my song inside. I don't want to die with my song inside me. I want to let it out to the world some way. But for that, I have to master the instrument itself and the code that's been used for centuries. And that takes time as well. That takes dedication. That takes choosing to run your scales over going to party with some friends. And most of us are not willing to put that effort and are not willing to move forward that much. And it's just sad. So that's why we want to leave, to get back to my initial point. That's why we want to leave, because we know that Cambodia, where we are right now, is not the best for us. And we don't know what's the best country, but we're willing to explore. We're willing to put our best foot forward and say, okay, basta, we know we can't grow here. It's not possible anymore. We're done. We've explored all the options that are to our reach, at our reach, that we can reach. Reach. Sorry. Yeah, and I'm a goofball and I don't care. That's another thing. I want to be able to express myself and do my weird little things without anyone saying, "Oh, she's weird. I'm not going to hire her because she's weird." Why? Why not? Why not? Get some unpredictability in your life. So yeah, Cambodia is definitely not for us. I don't know which country will be, but we are exploring. We're gathering information right now. And yeah, I'll probably be talking about options later because I do feel like talking about the options that we saw. Oh my God, that was so exciting. I'm really looking forward to get out of here. We've invested a lot we've invested a lot here. But, you don't get anything if you don't give a little bit of yourself. So that's what it is. I'm gonna leave it for now. I think, yeah, we're about the 30 minutes mark, not even. If I get inspired, I'll come back, definitely. Looking forward.